Then what do you mean by client? When they come on server, the name itself suggesting that it will serve. It means that it will supply all the resources which is required by the client. Border color equals red. It means that I am creating one table. On that table, here we have mentioned the thickness of the table as well as the color here I given as red color. In the final output, we are going to get in form 2, we have created one program. There HTML body, there in blue color it has to be displayed that successfully created. Welcome back to One and All. Myself, Vasanta, lecturer in Computer Science, Vidhyaashram, Temple of Excellence, Mysuru. Today, we are going to start with the second session of Web Designing chapter. Already in the previous section, you come to know the weightage of the chapter. That is totally 6 marks weightage you have. Out of 6 marks, in part A, 1 question, part B, 1 question, as well as in part C, 1 question you will going to get. With that, you have studied regarding the introduction to HTML as well as the general structure of HTML and different tags in HTML we are used, which are the tags we are used. Regarding that, in the previous class, you already came to know that. Now, today, we are going to explain regarding form tags elements, then form tag program. What do you mean by this forms? What is the major difference between forms and tables? That majorly today you will come to know. Whereas in table, we can just able to insert one table. Whereas in form, in the output screen also, we can able to perform input operation. In output screen also, we can able to perform input operation and we can store that input data, whatever thing in the output screen you entered, that we will store for future purpose and we can use that. Whatever data we will input on the output screen, usually in HTML, in the output screen, we are not going to enter any value, is it no? But by using forms, we can able to enter some value, we can able to input some values. And then that value can be stored in the server. Whenever we want, we can able to access the data. Okay, now we will explain different form elements first of all. Then only we will explain the program. Then it will be easy for you. Already you come to know form helps to input the data on the output screen. Whereas when they come on form elements, there are several form elements like text field, text area, password, checkbox, radio button, drop down button, as well as submit and reset buttons here. First, we'll discuss about text field. Whereas this text field helps to input only one line of text. Only one line of text we can able to input here on the output screen. Whereas here, if I want to input one line of text, then compulsory I have to mention the input type equals text here we have to mention. If I want to write the general syntax, then on the place of input type, we have to write, we are going to input the text, then by which name in the server it has to store that name, then on that particular line, how many characters it can able to store. For example, consider this is the input area. Here, input type equals text. It means that here we can able to enter the text and by which name it has to store. Regarding that, you have to mention here, then maximum, how many characters we can able to input. Here, if I want to write 10, maximum 10 characters I can able to input. If I want to write 20, then maximum on that screen, output screen, I can able to input 20 characters. Depending upon how many characters, here we have mentioned that many characters we can able to input in the output screen. Now, the second one, text area. Whereas this text area helps to input multiple line of text. For example, here in text field, father's name, mother's name, student name, there it is a text field because only one line data we can able to enter. But here in text area, if I want to input multiple line of text, for example, address, there I have to mention which area, which street, which path, exact area, which country, everything we have to mention. There it may require more than one line of text. On that time we are using text area. There you have to mention how many rows we required as well as how many columns, by which name it has to store. Regarding that you have to mention. Then the next one is password field. Whereas this password field helps to input the data, but here it will input the data in the format of bullets. It will not visible to the user. In the format of bullets only, it will display all the values. It will not going to display the characters there. On that place, it will display in the format of bullets. That is, it will majorly mask the character, and input type here you have to mention the password. When you want to input the data in text format, here you will write text. When you want to input the data in password format, on the place of input type equals text you have to mention by which name, by which heading it has to store. That is the name you have to mention. In the server side, on which heading it has to store. Regarding that, it will tell you. And the next one is checkbox. Whereas this checkbox helps to input multiple line of options or multiple options we can able to select. For example, if I have hobby options, there we can able to select multiple options like games, dance, like that multiple options when you want to select. On that time, we are using this checkbox concept. More than one option when you want to select, on that time we'll use this checkbox concept. There also input type, we are inputting the data. Input type is checkbox format. When you want to select multiple options, then we are using this checkbox. Checkbox, and here name, for example, Kannada and then English. For example, I want to select two languages. I know two languages, for example. On that time, I want to select both Kannada and English. Then checkbox, here on the place of name, Kannada and English will write, and both the values should be on here. Like this here, whichever options we want, we can select. More than one options also we can able to select. For the sake, we are using checkbox. And the next one is radio button. A radio button helps to select only one option at a time, whereas checkbox helps to input multiple line of text, whereas radio button helps to input only one character or only one option we can able to select. For example, if I'm going to get the options male or female, then only one option I have to select, whether it may be male or it may be female. On that case, we are using this radio button. Only one option we can able to select. Whereas checkbox helps to select multiple options, whereas radio button helps to select only one option. Here on the place of input type, here you have to mention radio. Whereas in checkbox, you will write checkbox, whereas in radio, you will write radio option. Input type equals radio, and the male, here options I am going to select, one is male and one more is female. And the value on which name it has to be stored in the server, that is male as well as female. It means that two options here we have, but out of two, only one option we can able to select. Whereas in checkbox, I can able to select more than one option also. For example, I am going to select countries or hobbies. On that time, I need these options. Then the next one, drop down button. This will display all the information in the format of list. Especially when you click on that drop down, all the list will display. For example, here you consider you have one box. If you are going to click here, all the data will display one by one. That is drop down option. Drop down option helps to display all the list in drop down format. Then the last one is submit as well as reset button. Submit helps to store all the data, whatever data you are written, whatever data you are inputted in the output screen, that will stored in server side. Then what do you mean by server? Then what do you mean by client? When they come on server, the name itself suggesting that it will serve. It means that it will supply all the resources which is required by the client. Ega for example, hotel hodre, server kelsa enu, it supply, that person will supply all the items. Is it in the same way? Here also, the server will supply all the resources which is required by the client. Whereas the client is the one who just ordering, I want so and so data items, like that. Whereas server work is to supply all the resources to the client, whereas client work is just to ordering the data. Whereas here, whatever data here we written, all the data will stored when you click on submit button. On that time, all the data will stored on server side by using submit button. By using submit button, I can able to store all the information on server side. And by using reset button, I can able to clear whatever data already we are inputted on the output screen. It means that while writing the syntax, input type equals submit and name equals submit and value equals submit. Here on the screen, you are going to get one submit option. There, when you click on that, all the data, whatever data in the output screen you entered, that will stored on server side. When you click on reset button, on that time, whatever data already are written on the screen, that will be clear and new data can be entered there. Reset button. These are the few form elements. The major thing you have to remember is forms helps to input the data on the output screen. When they come on form elements, text field, text area, password, checkbox, radio button, drop down button, as well as submit and reset, all are the form elements. Now, we'll explain with one example program. Consider I want to display the information in such a way that it has to be shown, for example, in the title bar. Consider this is my output screen. Here, I want to display all the values. Here, we have started with HTML. Here, we are going to writing one program by using tables and forms. I am going to use table concept as well as form concept. In this, first we have started with HTML. There, in HTML, we have two parts. One is head part as well as body part. If you consider any HTML program, we have two parts. One is head part and one more is body part. In head part, we have title, and in the body part, we have actual information, actual content of the program. In the same way, here consider we have HTML tag. Inside the HTML, we have head. Inside the head only, always the title will comes. Then title. In the title, we have displayed that student form. It means that here I want to display student form. Consider in the title bar, I just want to display student form. Then I will close title. Then I will close the head part. Then we will open the body. In the body, I want to display all the information at the center. Consider this is the title bar and this is the working area in the output screen. Here, I want to display everything in the center of the document, center of the web page. There, I am mentioning the table border equals 1. Whereas in the previous class only I explained regarding the table tag. The table tag having few elements like TR tag, TD tag, TH tag, cell spacing, cell padding. Whereas here, table border equals the thickness of the border we can able to mention how much thickness you want. Then border color equals red. It means that I am creating one table. On that table, here we have mentioned the thickness of the table as well as the color here I given as red color. For the border, we are giving the color. Consider we are displaying one table here. On the table, the thickness of the table here we are given as 1 and border color equals red. Then here we have started the table. The TR represents table row. Each row starts with TR. TH stands for table heading. When you want to display the data in highlighted format, in heading format, then we are using TH tag. Whereas TD tag helps to display the data in normal style. Here, when you want to write TR, then new row it will start, table row. There, in the first row, in TH tag we are used. TH stands for table heading. In heading format, it has to be displayed. That is student entry form. In the first row, when I am going to write TR, first row it will start. There, student entry form is the data I want to display. Consider this is the table. Here I am to write student entry form. This is the data I want to display at the center. Then I am going to close TR tag. When I am going to close TR tag, here only it will stop. Then here this is the closing tag for table row. Next, once again, we are starting with TR tag. It means that second row it has to be start. There TD we are given. TD will help to display the data in normal style. There we have mentioned form action equals form2.html method equals post. By this, when you want to click it on submit button, on that time the data will store in some particular server site, and with that it will going to display like the successfully created one file. That file is present at form 2. If you are not going to write this line, then when you are going to click submit button, the supporting file will not open. For that sake, we required form action equals form2.html. By this, we can able to, when you are going to click submit button, automatically it will display the file, particular file is successfully created. Next, here student ID we have on the same table, student ID, then we have on colon. Then here input type equals text we are written. It means that the text on that box we want to write. Then student ID is the name of the data and size here we are given as 20. The same thing here. Here we are given student ID. Then here we are written on colon. Then we'll write one box. On this box, what we have writing, the input type equals text format and then student ID is the name of that content heading. Then maximum 20 characters we can able to enter. Here we are written 2 times BR. It means that after each line, I required one more separate line. For the sake, we are using BR tag. BR tag helps to move to the next line. Then the next data you have student name. There also input type equals text and name equals submit and size equals 20. What is the second heading we need? That is student name. In the student name here we'll write student name. Then afterwards we want to input the data here. One more box here we are getting. Now see here input type equals text and the name equals student name and size here we are given as 20. It means that maximum 20 characters we can able to input. Next, password. Password, it is also one of the form element. Here input type equals password and name equals password, size equals 10. It means that maximum 10 characters we can able to enter. What is the next content we have? Password. In the output screen here, it will display password. Then once again one colon and one more box. Here also we can able to enter the data. In this password, how many characters we can give? Maximum 10 characters. If I am going to write here 20, then maximum 20 characters we can able to write. And the next option we have sex. Here we have 2 options. One is male and one more is female. Then here input type equals radio. Here I took the heading as sex. Under that male and female I am selecting. On this case, when you want to select only one option, then radio button we are using. That is input type equals radio, name equals sex and value equals male. With that it has to be displayed male. And here we are not using BR tag because there only on the same line only I want to display all the values. And one more, input type equals radio, name equals sex, value equals female. Then the heading I want display female. Then in the output screen here it will display sex, one colon, then one option here male and one more option female we are getting. That's why there here we are used input type equals radio male and one more is input option is radio female. Both the data that is male as well as female has to come at the same line. That's why there we are not using BR tag. Then afterwards we are using 2 times BR. Then see here date of birth. Here in date of birth also input type equals text. See here also I given text and here also I given text. That is for date of birth text format and name here we are given DOB, that is date of birth, and size here for example 8 I given. Then in the output screen how here it will display date of birth, then colon. Here also you have to get one box, maximum 10 characters we can able to enter here. Next one, country equals select option. When you want to perform drop down option, then we are using this country is select option. Under that country, first option we have India, China, Pakistan. Here we are selected multiple option list will be there. Under that only one we can select. For example, India, China and Pakistan. Then here what you have to write? Here you are going to get one option country. Here you are going to get one box. Here it will display in drop down format. Whatever data you want, you can drop here. For example, here I am having India. When you click on this drop down button, it will display all the options like India, Pakistan, China, like that. All the information will display one below the another. Next, we will explain regarding all the option USA. Then we will close the select option. That is drop down option we are completed. Next, hobbies. Whereas hobbies, here in this, we have selected the options like check box. That means here it helps to select multiple hobbies. For example, games, music, dance, reading, like that. Some options we have. There, first we have to write hobbies. Then here we'll write hobbies. Under hobbies, we have 4 options. One is game and one more is music, dance, reading. First here we have game. Here you have to get one box, games. Next you have music. Once again here it will display music. Then in the same way here it will display dance and reading. Same way here also we have dance as well as reading. It means that here we can able to select multiple options. Checkbox helps to select multiple options. Then we have BR. Then whatever data we have, everything will display at center only. Once again, I want to display submit as well as reset button. Then in the output screen, here we are going to get one more option in the center box, that is submit, and one more is reset. Reset. These are the content of your table. For example, see, from this you can observe here whatever data, student ID you want, you can write. It is in the format of text area, text field, that you have to observe. See, here in the previous text area or text field that you will observe, and here student ID, password in the password element, and here it is radio button. This was also text field only. Here it is country is drop down option. Here checkbox option and submit as well as reset. Consider here you have written some data, Anu ID 1. Like that, whatever ID you want you can write, and the name Anu, and here the password it will display in format of bullets, and here only one option we can able to select, and here you have to write the date of birth. When you click on here, multiple options you will get, only one you can select. Then hobbies, whichever you want you can select here. When you click on submit, then it has to store in the server side. Then afterwards, after storing server side, it has to be displayed that successfully created or successfully all the records are inserted. Then here you written form action equals form2.html. This is the file. Here it will open when you click on submit button. On this file, we are just written successfully created. See, consider this is the program. Then here we are used submit as well as reset. Whichever tags are remaining, all the tags one by one will close. Form tag, TD tag, table tag, center tag, body tag as well as HTML tag. These are the tags. There we are closed. Whereas in the final output, we are going to get in form 2, we have created one program. There HTML body, there in blue color it has to be displayed that successfully created. In the output screen, just we have successfully created. This is the output. When you click on submit button, then this particular file has to be opened. Now it's clear. Whereas this form helps to mainly input the data on the output screen, as well as you can submit, you can store in the server side. Whenever you want from the server side, you can able to access the data. These are the major concepts you have studied. Next class, we will meet with the new concept regarding this web designing, that especially web scripting. What do you mean by web hosting, web scripting, how to launch your program? Regarding that, you will come to know in the next session. Thank you for all of you.